And that is update 240.3. Pretty good. Did I get last? I think I just got... No! I F the cop! I F the cop! When it got to... So it is multiple people. It is multiple people. What happens? Okay. Not my usual video where I want to clickbait or rant about things, but I'm pissed enough to do this. So why not? It's related to the update 240.3.5 now, and all the stupid changes they made. Already made 2 videos in more light positive perspective as to what's changed, but this is me saying this update has been really shit, and probably the worst update. Definitely in the top 3 of worst. Maybe Overkill might revert some of this crap, but there's a lot of why, no reason, and broken stuff all in these updates. Before I jump why it's the worst update, well, maybe, I'm gonna go over the 2 other contenders. Update 204 was the damage range fall off for LMG, shotguns, SMGs, pistols, whatever. Which really didn't affect me as the strongest weapons were already snipers, explosives, hell even akimbos with ammo going brrrr. Rifles never got the DRF treatment and they were still very standard. So why did those get buffed and everything else got nerfed? Shotguns honestly needed a buff, in my opinion, before update 204, but whatever, we're stuck with it. But overall, it makes the damage breakpoints and quirky builds with SMGs, pistols inconsistent and frustrating, while majority of enemies still don't care to shoot you at max range with full damage. Yay. The other one for terrible updates is the obvious update 237 with the Epic Games integration. And oh boy, this one was bad. It makes me second guess if it was the worst update still. Killing Linux, breaking mods, corrupted save files, missing perks, weapons, CrimeNet completely broken, failing to create games?
I'm hosting now, and it's mayhem difficulty, so you better the big guns. Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Massive desync if you did get a game. Everything wasn't functional and Overkill had to do something to fix it. Since update 237 was before Payday 3, wasn't released at the time, the minus Steam MM in the launch options was a savings grace until Overkill finally, quote, fixed the matchmaking and killed the launch option. After it was fixed, it was overall a downgraded experience and still had some minor bugs and loading filters and whatever. Glad we had 10 years of functionality to kill it. Payday the Heist was functional during this time, so I played that. Which brings me to update 240.3. And before we get crazy, undocumented changes are never a good thing. I can understand missing 1 or 2 points, but not 10, 20, or 30 plus. The game may seem functional, but it is far from. So many mods were broken, yet again, with this update and took modders the most amount of time to fix due to the massive changes, which, again, were not frickin' documented, as well as modders are still trying to figure out things out and fix them. These changes were mostly faction changes, unit changes, AI changes, and of course all the animation changes they wanted to brag about on the update notes. Was any of this needed? Just like the other 2 updates I mentioned? Hell no. The overall game is more frustrating now. So with the release of Payday 3, I doubt their focus is to revert or fix any of this because the game is quote-unquote functional, unlike 237, but the details are all inconsistent. So I'm going over that list as to why these changes suck, because things are inconsistent all over the place. The first one is the AI changes. From what I thought, cop sight lines to the player were broken, that causes enemies to go full speed swarm-like. No, I'm wrong. It's all over the place. Spawns of various maps are either crouch-walked groups, or full running zooming squads, or cops standing still or stuck in place. Hell, a mixed bag of all of them, from just one spawn group. Made a very bad mistake. Why are, like, one fucking spawn group here, literally 2 of them crouch walking, 2 of them sprinting. What the fuck is the enemy logic? Where is it? Reading from the mod workshop, apparently coding from lies is integrated to make them more rushy and fast. But not every spawn is like that, and there's inconsistencies when they do decide to rush immediately out of spawn. Trying the mod in some players' lobby, cops were rushy, but ignored me every bit. It was boring. So then I tried it. And cops ran away from me? Why? So aggression level. Okay, so if we say like normal, let's see how easy this game is. Mosh pit, that's probably what's going on DSOD, not gonna lie. How are they smart? They literally ran away from me! So what am I missing? Modders wanted to introduce a mod and failed to implement it correctly, while features are broken and perhaps causing inconsistency within cops and AI. Majority of players who know how to play will be unaffected because they know how to use cover, kill cops, and do objectives. The speed of the cops doesn't matter, it just forces the player to bunker down more in cover. Wowee. But for newer players that are learning, now it's going to be more rough for them to keep up on top. And this is on top of the death sentence difficulty itself. What if there's some average Joe who can't even do mayhem difficulty yet? Well, sucks to be him. Remember I said cops getting stuck? Well, you may find random cops in corners of the map for no frickin' reason, not moving, ready to turret ambush you by, you know, setting his little butt in a corner, or hell, even stuck underneath the map shooting you. Look at this shit. I'm banning this map. Oh, and it doesn't really stop. Part of the lies integration seems to be pushing spawns harder with faster frequencies. These examples of Greenbridge and Birth of Sky turns the game into a meat grinder for cops. So we have average 5 cops with specials per spawn getting pushed out into unfun levels. If we wanted speedy cops, this would make more sense that there was 1 or 2 less cops per spawn group, or perhaps delays for another spawn group. Pushing multiple enemies out of a spawn to go full speed for clients isn't good either, as desync has always been a problem in this game. Players can get shot through walls before enemies even turn the corner. Overall maps and enemies are not fun for the player base, as I heard from many folks being frustrated more and more from this change. Hell, ever died from a sniper through the roof on the diamond? I got sniped? Oh yeah, let's just send another spawn group. A third spawn group immediately. Okay, that was 3 spawn groups. 4 spawn groups. 5 spawn groups. How many more spawn groups are we gonna send? 6, that's a Marshall. 6. 7. 7 spawn groups in a minute. Okay, 7 spawn groups in a minute. DPS builds can only take care of that. If you bring like a non-DPS build, oh boy, that's a problem. Oh yes, the spawn frequencies. It never spawned this twice before that side got spawned up. What are these spawn frequencies? Oh, I know. Update 240.3. It should not be this fast. I know this. I've done Hell's Island so many fucking times. So many fucking times. It's supposed to spawn over there, then over here, in like moderate succession, not one after another cop grind. Oh god, they are shooting over there. Yeah, that's dumb. For hacker users, it seems the ECM may be more inconsistent now. I can't speak for the stealth ECMs if they're not the same, but it seems the lies AI wants to push their action first, such as, you know, moving or shooting, then applying the stun afterwards. That's why some cops are delayed to the stun and manage to shoot you beforehand or move after a player uses the ECM feedback. Similar to this clip, where I just Stunned a cop. I need a new Joker. What the fuck? Come on. He doesn't. What was that? Okay. I understand there's always a slight delay from the ECM or when cops get stunned, but with the update 240.3 change, there always seems to be a couple of cops that take longer to get stunned or none at all. When update 229 fixed all the hacker problems, never had an issue with the hacker stuns, and they were always consistent. Now we're back to what feels before update 229, just with a longer range that is 25 meters to stun them. Now for the most unstable part of the change that also affects vanilla users. Dominated cops. Jokers with partners in crime ace brings the best benefits in the game. But simply dominating a cop next to teammates, also shouting it as well, has a small chance to crash clients in the lobby. This is related to the buzzer stun as well. Crash logs indicate some cop action hurt.lua, but it's not a one-to-one replication as to why it happens. It's really random if it does crash everyone in the lobby. So if you need to trade people out of custody, you might crash them instead. Imagine playing a heist or you're halfway into day 2 and players are trying to get a Joker. Well, that could crash everyone and goodbye motivation. One of the changes I mentioned said it was harder to dominate cops. Well, that may be true, but it is consistent after a second shout. So you don't even need the confidence skill. So apply a buzzer and shout twice and the cop's hands are up, pig whoop. Or with a Zork setup, do enough damage to the chest or legs and get them to stagger and shout them twice again. Was this really an improvement? No. People with 200 ping now have to deal with the lag and inconsistency between shouts, so if there is ever a problem with the cop's animation, well, you're probably getting shot. Now for the minor stuff, but it's still pretty annoying. Civvies seem to be more dumb and stuck than ever. Lab rats, they don't even run in panic from the spooky, scary Halloween spiders. Or folks on Heat Street are just minding their business despite 4 crazy clowns and all the cop cars. There's obviously more maps, but why do I need to shout at them to make the civvies quote-unquote normal? What was the purpose of changing the AI again? Clearly the atmosphere is too boring. This could be remnants of update 237 with the Epic integration, but the join lag is definitely worse than it was. Even after a player has joined and loaded, there's a good 4 to 5 seconds where your frames is unable to do basic things. It would be nice to add that, 4 to 5 second pause after they join, so then everyone is ready. I can't count how many times I died due to join lag from these updates. The Molotovs I talked about, so I will again. Was these Molotov changes needed to sync with clients as said in the patch notes? No, I think it was a way to create synchronized damage to cops for other players. Molotovs were never a problem, so adding 10 damage from the bottle explosion? Why? This hurts frenzy players getting precise circs, so fuck them, I guess. Non-frenzy users, which is only anarchists, gain a 1-second benefit. Woo! But now we have loads of documentation, YouTube videos, and whatever else over the years that are now obsolete. Molotovs also get a fuse timer when thrown. You could throw it super far without it exploding in the air. This was good for throwing Molotovs at bar, spawn, or choke points. Well, screw those players too, because we have gas anyways. But those gas grenades blow up in half a second after landing? So why make it hurt players with Molotovs? Now we got changes within factions. With mods, you can see zeal_heavy_SWAT. Cool, that's something the modders can fix. But if you want a Mexican mission, there's the Federales. Murky, water enemies for Henry's Rock, White House, and so on. Then the usual Zeal heavies for everything else. Again, things were fine, so what was the issue? Things were working fine, no issues or crashes. I guess we could see the biker females in proper text? Was this changed to keep up with the Pronehounds or something? I don't know. But now we have female Bronco cops with 480 health. This is as much as a light unit. All other street cops are 40 HP. So what is this change? Oh, I know. Inconsistency. From faction changes to enemy changes. Tasers and shields got nerfed hard. Taser damage went from 195 to 75, which also has damage fall off, and shields went from 70 to 35, which has fall off too. A threatening enemy is now a wimp you no longer need to worry about. These are more pathetic than the 2 martial units that everyone dislikes already. And that's not all. Taser's range to stun the player is reduced too. So let's remove the threats of that. Back with the AI changes, your main worry is the rushing heavy units that do 225 damage. But they were already 75% of all spawns. So not much is going to change for the players who know what they're doing, or they're going to have to bunker down into cover longer because of it. For those still playing, ever notice there's a lot less use of enemy flashes? I hardly see them get tossed at the player. It's probably because the enemies are too busy rushing the player at full speed. Even if they did throw a flashbang, their timer is much longer than what it used to be. And it's not just flashes, the smokes too. Tasers and cloakers throw smokes, and they aren't as often anymore. It's like they want to run to a certain position and not the player. Hence their brainless rushes aren't exactly healthy to put pressure on the player. So, are they making AI harder or easier? I don't get it. Either way, it doesn't make sense. The list continues with what I found of undocumented changes. Shock and Awe is definitely worse. Even with the Zerk builds, it feels the same amount of bullets to knock down a shield. And when you do, it's a lot harder because of the new animations they applied when the shield is trying to cover themselves when they fall. As opposed to just holding the shield while they're falling down backwards. But don't worry, their damage is reduced, so who cares? Just grab an AP pistol, grenade launcher, or sniper. They're better than 9 points of shock and eye anyways. Okay, what about shock and fire rounds to kill shields? Yes, but those work, but the fire tick damage doesn't proc overkill on the shotgun skill now. So let's nerf shotguns again after update 204 for the 20th time. I lost count. And now overkill ace builds are even worse. There is no reason to use fire shotgun rounds when you can use the toxic slugs instead. It's been 2 months since this update, and the fire rounds are still not fixed. Let's hope they're using those 2 months to fix Payday 3.
Oh, isn't that beautiful?
On top of the faction and AI changes, bots got changed again? Let's add funny damage fall-off coding with fancy damage tables so they get the same effect as players. R93 sniper on bots just got a lot better. Did they want to nerf the Akron LMG for longer ranges? It doesn't matter. Bots have perfect accuracy and 90% of the time you're fighting at close ranges. So this change again was pointless. Credits to Miss Mickey for this screenshot here. Yeah? Anyways. On top of more AI changes, it seems whatever coding that does run stop has been changed. Credits to Red Flame with this screenshot. So this explains AI isn't consistent while cops proceed to go at full speed and may never stop rushing towards the player. Whilst if they do eventually stop, this explains why they get stuck in random places where players never expect it. I'm not the coding expert here, so someone can correct me on this, but this goes back to the cop AI behavior was never needed to be changed or wanted in the first place. Now for some smaller things, you know, Crime Spree, that dead game mode, yeah, they made it more dead by removing the fire and poison stun on cops. When flamethrowers were meta for super late game Crime Spree, well, don't even bother now because of it. On top of the flamethrower changes, yes, a weapon no one hardly uses due to the shit range it has, the damage over time has been changed to be synced across all players, which isn't going to be better for the player using the weapon. On top of that, the short range of applying DOT encouraged spamming it, but they removed that ability to reapply the DOT duration, so you have to wait for the burning animation to finish to reapply it again. And yes, these DOT changes affect the fire rounds on shotguns too. So it's over the place making shotguns into shit guns? Oh well. Lastly, I want to give a shoutouts to Find a Buckle 2 for this video. It was linked on my Discord, and I did a quick watch on it, and apparently you can make guards stuck in stealth completely. If you know, after alerting them, jam their calls with any ECM, and just don't go in their line of sight. Easy stealth clears, apparently. After all these unneeded and unwanted changes to make the game frustrating and stupid to play, I kind of hope they revert majority of this crap, as not a lot of people are enjoying the game right now, because we already have problems that should be addressed. such as Update 237 still suffering desync issues for players joining into other players' lobbies, and now we have this terrible mod of lies integrated into the game? Why? Hell if I know. Apparently they're still updating the mod, which has me worried on several levels. So, is Update 240.3 the worst update in the game? Well, in my eyes, yeah it is. Update 237 only needed a bit of patience to deal with. And if you couldn't play a game, you would just probably play a different game instead. But with 240.3, the game experience itself is more frustrating and a pain in the ass to deal with. So, breaking the game's core systems and many players had to adjust their muscle memory on doing things properly, well, that's all broken now. Things are definitely more frustrating to play, but it's something we all have to put up now with a half-assed integration mod to vanilla Payday or the base game that we have and know already. As for myself, unfortunately, I'll still keep playing the game and hopefully not go insane. But, once again, these overall changes are not healthy. Anyways, stick through it. Or not. Or maybe Overkill's trying to make us go to Payday 3. Ugh. I'm not touching that game until they fix that one, but God knows when. Until then, I'll see you next time. But like, where the hell is Bane? It says Lock and Bane. It says Lock. That's Lock and Pain, not Lock and Bane. He's in pain. He needs his fucking Tylenol. Not Lock and Bane. Christ, like we're all getting old here. Shit, man.